Hello again, my name's Diane and I design and make patchwork quilts, and I've just completed this flimsy and it's called Enchanted Wings, and if you'd like to see how I made this one, please continue watching. But before we begin, I'd just like to explain a little bit about my channel. It's a very small affair. There's just me, my phone and my computer, and I start each day with the 3 C's: coffee, computer, correspondence. So if you've left me any comments, another C, then it'll be of a morning, Greenwich Mean Time, that I'll get to see those comments. And if I can respond during the video, I will. What I tend to do is sew and record as I go. And then on the evening, I upload the footage. And then the next morning, I'll edit. And so that's how, roughly, I make my videos. And I had a really lovely comment from Michelle, and she asked, when I'm making my videos, if I could include fabric sizes and fabric requirements, which I am happy to do. And so I have compiled a sheet as I've gone along. Well, this is the posh one. The one that I made going along didn't look like this, trust me. But I will take a photo of this and I'll put it on my community page so that you'll have that. Also on the community page will be the plan, the design, and also the individual blocks. Another question I'm frequently asked is, how do I get to the community page to find this information? Well, you need to go to my homepage, and if you scroll along the top, you'll see a link that says community page, and all of these photos will be there for you to download if you want them. Just one more thing, spoiler alert, this quilt isn't completed. It's the flimsy that's completed, so the top is pieced. I'm still to put a border on and then I'm going to back it and quilt it. I've done it this way because I'm going to try and put a video out every Sunday evening. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to keep to that, but that's my intention. I'm not going to give a time, but we'll see how that goes. Let's crack on. Well, it's day 1 of the making of the Enchanted Wings quilt. So I have my design, I have my ruler, I've cleaned my cutting mat, I have a new blade in my rotary cutter, my fabric is waiting, and so is the ironing board. Well, this is the view from my back door today. Perfect quilting weather. I am not stepping foot out in that, so let's go into the sewing room. So the weather can do its thing outside and I'm nice and dry and warm inside, and today I'm going to be looking at the black background and the little green and black 4 patch. So this is the fabric that I'm using for that. I have a yard of the green, that's a John Loudon fabric, and then I have a 3-yard bolt of this lovely black. Now Michelle has asked me to furnish her with all of the cutting requirements and sizes if I can, and I'm happy to do that. So today I'm just going to work my way along these, and then what I shall try and do is work out how much fabric's left on the bolt and in the yardage, so it'll give you an approximate amount. I hope that makes sense. And I found that by cutting 1 3/4 inch strips, 6 of each colour, the length of fabric, gave me just over the 68 3-inch squares when they were sewn up. That's it. Everything is ready and waiting. I know it doesn't look much like a quilt at the moment, but I have high expectations. So construction time. Preparation is complete, and I'm looking at this quilt as though it is a 9 patch, a huge 9 patch. I have 9 separate blocks. So I have 4 middle blocks, then I have 4 corner blocks, 8, and then I have 1 central block, 9. And so we have 3 different sorts of blocks. We have 4 block A's, 4 block B's, and 1 block C. So I'm going to start off with block A. So the first thing I'm going to do is create 4 4x4 blocks. So we've got the blue on blue backed with a black. And so I take a blue and a black 4 3/4 inch square, I sew a careful 1/4 inch around the outside, I snip off the corners, and then I press to set the seam, and then I cut on the diagonal, and then I finger press open to give me 3-inch half square triangles, and then I sew them back together again. I don't press yet until I've completed the whole block, and that little on point square will form the top part of block A, and you need 4 of those. And now I need to sew 8 of these blocks, so they're 2 blocks deep, 3 across. And to create that block, I need to make the 3-inch half square triangles the same as I made the blue and the black. So I need to sew together 4 of the butterfly and the pink, 4 of the pink and the beetle, and 4 of the beetle and the black. So they're all sewn together. So the pink will form a point, and the beetle will form an on-point square, and the butterfly eventually will form the points on the star. So I'll sew those together now, and we'll place them next to the blue squares. So that's the top panel of block A, and that will look like that. So now we're going to do the piece that comes below this. So we're looking to create a variable star with the butterfly fabric, and we've got the 4 patches in each corner, and these little pieces around the points are in the pink. So the section that we're looking at is this. We need 4 of these. So those variable stars are complete. What do you think of those little green 4 patch? I think it lightens it. So now I'm going to put the top and the bottom of that variable star. So that's the top and the bottom, and I need 8 pink and 8 black 4 3/4 inch squares just to finish the points on each of the sides. So I'll sew those, and I also need 16 3-inch squares. So that's the central piece of the block completed. Now we're going to do the left and the right hand side. So I'm going to start off by sewing 4 of the pale blue with 4 of the black to create the half square triangles, and so then we'll fit those to the pink points on each side. So we've got 2 little 4x4 patches that are fit on the outside of those. And there are all the pink points on the variable star. Now we've got the 4 corners to put together. And so I'm going to start that part by sewing 8 black 4 3/4 squares to the blue floral. And so the last part of block A are 16 of the little tulips, and they're 4x4 patches, and they fit 1 in each corner. So they look like that. So we've got a 3-inch of the blue background floral and 2 of the half square triangles with the black, so it's almost like a little hourglass, and then we have the 4 patch with the green touching the centre, and we need 16 of those. And so those are all the parts of block A, so I'll join those together. So that's block A complete, and they measure 20.5 inches square. So block B are also 8 blocks by 8 blocks, so they'll measure 20.5 inches square too. So we have the corner units, and then we have this little piece of the pink and the purple variable star. So we'll start off by putting together these black and green 4 patch. So it's 2 little 4 patch, green touching green, and then 2 little 3-inch squares, and I need 16 altogether. So I have a lovely pile of the 4 patch, and now I want to make 4 pinwheels, and I'm going to make it from this pink and the blue floral background. And the layout of this is really important. I've got to make sure I don't mess this up. I've got to have blue floral here and the pink on that side. So I've sewn those 4 pinwheels. So what we're going to be doing next is 8 of these blocks and 8 of those blocks. And as you can see, they're half square triangles. So to complete those, we need 4 of the floral background sewn with 4 of the blue on blue. We need 2 of the blue on blue and 2 of the black, 2 of the blue on blue and 2 of the beetle. Then we need 4 of the floral pink and 4 of the butterfly, 2 of the butterfly with black, 2 of the butterfly with beetle. So we'll sew those and make our half square triangles. So we need to make 16 blocks, and so that's the pale blue floral background with the blue on blue, and then it's the butterfly butterfly with the pink, and so they form a shape like that. So I take 8 of those with the pale blue and the pink on the top, and I get 8 of the blue and the black and 8 of the butterfly and the black, and I'll join those together, and then I'll join those together, so we have a little 4 patch. So you have 8 of these little 4 patches, so these will form the points on the star. So it's exactly the same step as the previous one, except this time we have the beetle fabric, 8 of those blocks. And there we are, we have 16 blocks in all, and I'll show you how they fit around the pinwheel. So those blocks will sit together like that, and there we are, 4 of those. Now we're going to put the sashing along the top, the side and each corner. So the first thing we need to do is take 4 3-inch black squares and join those together in a 4 patch, and we need 8 of those. So those are complete, we'll set those aside, and now we're going to sew some more squares of fabric together. So I'm going to sew 4 of the pink with 4 of the butterfly, 4 of the pink, 4 of the black, 4 of the beetle and 4 of the black, 4 of the blue, 4 of the black, and then we'll turn those into half square triangles, and I'll show you how we use those. And there we are, we have all of the half square triangles laid out. So the next thing I'm going to do is chain piece all of the blue on blue together to form these arrowheads, and all of the beetle fabric together to form arrowheads. And there we have our lovely arrowheads, and now what we want to do is join all of those together so that the points are touching. So we've got 8 of those, and now we'll do the same with the remaining half square triangles. So we're going to form a pink arrowhead with a butterfly on the outside and a black arrowhead with a pink on the outside, and we need 8 each of those blocks. So those are all sewn together like that, and now I'm just going to join them. So we have another 4 patch. This time we've got the black arrowhead and the pink arrowhead, and we'll make 8 of those 4x4 blocks. So we have 8 of those blocks, and as you can see I've divided them into 2 sets of 4. Now we'll place the other blocks next to them. So then we put the hourglass blocks together. So the top 4 have the beetle on the bottom, and the bottom 4 have the blue on the bottom, and then you have a 4x4 black and a 4x4 black. So there's a left and a right hand side, so you need to make sure that you've got those aligning correctly. So sew those together, and then we'll construct this block. And so this is what block B looks like, and that's what it looks like before it's pieced. So you've got the 4 patch in the green, that's one of the corner parts of the quilt, and then you have the beetle touching the beetle on each side, that's the inner part of the quilt, and you're just going to add a 5.5-inch butterfly to one of those sashing pieces. And that's 8 out of the 9 blocks complete, and I've just run a row of stitching, stay stitching just around the edges of these blocks, because when I start to put them together they're going to be quite heavy. So now we're moving on to the centerpiece, and we start off with this beautiful beetle. So the first thing we're going to do is to put the points on the beetle, and so we need our 4 3/4-inch squares for that. We need 1 beetle and blue, 1 beetle and pink, and 1 pink and blue. So the first thing we want to do is to join the pink and the blue together. So these will form the points of the beetle star, and this is the background, blue on the left. So I've given the beetle 2 points on the top, so the blue on the left, and then these other side parts are ready and waiting to have this pink and blue attached. The point is coming into the centre, and that's the beautiful beetle star. That's the centre point of the quilt. However, big changes are afoot. Let me explain. So the thing about designing and making your own quilts is you have so much freedom of choice. And as I've been putting this quilt together and having the blocks laying next to me, I've just noticed how beautiful that green looks. And I would like to make more of a feature of that. And so I'm going to change the central motif, and I'll show you how. So the original design shows the beautiful beetle with the blue and the pink radiating out. And the blue and the pink then merge into this lovely pale blue background with a floral, but I really love the way this green is working, and so I have changed my mind, and everywhere where the blue floral lies I'm going to put the green, so it will look like that. I've used a darker green than the actual fabric just to cover what was underneath. I think this will look lovely, and that's what I'm going with. I will amend all of the fabric requirements, so when that's posted that'll be accurate, so don't worry about that. And so for the next round I need to sew 2 of the 4 3/4 inch green with blue, 2 of the green with the pink, and then I'll need 4 3-inch squares. So then we'll lay our half square triangles out in this direction, so they look like that. And so now we need to put a row above, and to do that we need to sew together 4 4 3/4 inch black squares and 4 4 3/4 inch green squares. Now we need to join those half square triangles together like that. And I think this green and black looks really elegant together. So that will sit like that on top of the blue and pink half square triangles, and they look like that. And then I'm going to put one on the top of the star beetle and one on the bottom, and then I need to make 4 cornerstones. So the 4 cornerstones are 3-inch black squares, 3-inch green squares, and the 4 patch, and we need 4 sets of those. And there we are, those are the 4 cornerstones complete. So I shall join those to the sides. Green is one of my favourite colours and I really love this, but I do think that would have looked beautiful in that as well. But this is my quilt, and you can always make your own quilts your own way, and that's the beauty of designing yourself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so now we've got to put it together. So that's the centre motif and the 4 middle pieces. There we are, all the pieces complete. Isn't she pretty? So I'm going to join these 9 patches together. So I'll just go across in rows, top, middle, bottom, and then I'm going to put a border on, and that's going to be in the black and some more 4 patch green. Well, if you've enjoyed watching this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it if you'd like to, if you think someone else might like it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Bye.